Hey, it's Jason. Thanks for joining me here at the Hardy Life Outdoors. This is my new YouTube channel, but I'm not new to YouTube. I've been around for over 3 years, have over 150 videos on YouTube, with a lot of them being pretty popular. I'm in the process of migrating things from my old channel to the new channel, so you're going to see a lot of that content come over here soon, as well as a lot of new content about all the things that I do outdoors. Check out the content. If you like it, please hit like, share the channel with your friends, and subscribe so that you know when new content comes out. I appreciate you stopping and hope you like the content. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Today I had a few projects I needed to do. They were kind of smaller in nature, and I thought I'd get out the John Deere 1025R today to do those projects. I don't get it out a lot, but these particular projects I think it's going to work well. One of the things that I consistently see is people asking about different tractors and what size tractor is big enough. So I've had this since 2016, and I thought I would just talk about my experience with it and kind of share what I know about it. So today I'm going to talk about the why I bought it, talk about the attachments that I purchased with it and kind of how they've performed. And I'm not going to get into the specs. Those are things you can go to the John Deere website. You can look and see all the specs and details. What I want to talk about is really my experience and how it's worked for me. So for starters, I bought this in 2016. I owned 25 acres, and I actually still own 25 acres in West Virginia. And at the time I was mowing about 2 acres with a Craftsman 42-inch mower. Took a little bit of time to do that job. It was a rough ride, and honestly I was just getting tired of getting beat up with that little lawnmower and spending most of my afternoon mowing. So I thought I needed something different for mowing. I also wanted something that I could do some food plot work with. At the time I didn't have any equipment for that. So I was looking around, I came across the John Deere, and the more I read about it, the more I thought this looked like the right tractor for me at the time. When I purchased the tractor, I bought a few attachments with it. I bought a 60-inch belly mower to go with it. I bought the loader. I got a 4-foot tiller, a 4-foot blade, and a utility cart with it. About a year later, I purchased the brush hog, and it's a Frontier 4-foot brush hog. So that's the equipment that I bought. At this point, I probably have $22,000, $23,000 in it. I bought it on a 5-year 0% interest deal from John Deere. I think the payments are around $300 a month. But from a price point and with the financing they were offering, it made it a very affordable option for me at the time. So that's the price point. The discounts I got on it, they were about 18% off of list. So that was a number that that if you're out negotiating one of these, know that they've got room to negotiate on these. Okay, I'll go ahead and jump into talking about the attachments. I mentioned that I bought the 60-inch belly mower. I don't have it on the tractor right now, and it's actually down at the other property, so I can't show it to you right now. But my feedback on the mower, it mows really nice. It certainly made my mowing job go a lot faster. So I really have liked the 60-inch. One of the things to be aware of when you do a belly mower, there are some attachments that are put underneath the drive shaft for the mower, so that does impact clearance. But overall, my experience with the mower has been really good. At 60 inches wide, I'm not finding myself scalping the ground a lot. It puts a nice mow on the lawn, and it's actually strong enough that I don't get to the cabin very often. If the grass is a little bit deep, the tractor handles it with no problems. The mower deck does have the drive on, drive off option, which actually works really well. One of the things that I would recommend for all of the attachments, anything you buy, what I found, I was a first-time tractor buyer for a tractor that had 3-point connections, as well as features like drive on, drive off. Make the dealer demonstrate these things to you. Don't watch the videos, don't let them talk you through it. Show me how that deck goes on and off. Show me how to hook up my attachments. What I found was, over time, I became more efficient with it, but it was me figuring it out on my own. So make that dealer show you this. The deck, once you figure out how to do it, it actually goes on and off really easy. The 3-point attachment's also something that once you get used to, they're not bad to deal with. But have somebody provide you with demonstrations on site before you buy. That's when they're going to be most motivated to help you. Next up, let's talk about the loader. The loader was something that I really wasn't sure I even wanted, and when I went looking, I found that the 1025R, it was pretty much standard. The dealer didn't even order them in without the loader. But I couldn't think of a use for the loader. I didn't know why I would need the loader. I'm really glad that I got the loader now. What I found with the loader, I don't use it a lot for scooping and hauling materials, but what I do find is I use it a lot for pushing things. So if I've got a log or something that falls into the yard or into a path, I can use the loader to push that out of my way, so it gives me something to push with. I also find that I use it for carrying stuff. So I'll load it full of firewood, carry firewood from the shed up to the porch. So there's a couple things there that I use it for. I have used it for moving material. I had a load of gravel, and honestly, one of the things you need to keep in mind is this is a smaller tractor. It doesn't weigh a lot, and if you put much weight in that bucket, it will get squirrely. You got to keep those loads low to the ground, and you got to take it easy with them. So what I found with a big pile of gravel, you really don't have the weight and the horsepower in this tractor to really push into that pile and fill up the bucket really easily. You can do it, but you know, it just doesn't have the weight behind it to push into those big piles and heavy materials. Might work better with mulch and some lighter materials. In terms of taking it on and off, this is something, it's got some flip up latches, and you unhook your hydraulics. Real easy to take this on and off. I would not waste my money on the hydraulic quick disconnect. It takes a minute to take those hydraulic hoses off and another minute to put them back on. So, you know, a little cleaner with the disconnect, but I wouldn't spend my money to have that feature put on. So that's a little bit about the loader. Okay, let's talk about the brush hog. I bought this in 2017, about a year after I bought the tractor. I just found that there were times that I needed something bigger than the belly mower to do some clearing. So I bought the Frontier RT1149, and actually I've had really good luck with it. I like how it works. It's sized right for the tractor. One recommendation I have is, you know, pay attention to what size attachments are designed for this tractor in the PTO. So this is a 4-foot brush hog. Some feedback on it. It's heavy. So, you know, when you're on a side hill, you'll feel it back there. You know it's back there. But from a power and cutting, it does really well. I would recommend this brush hog for what I would call maintenance mowing as opposed to heavy clearing. I've got property I mentioned here in southeast Ohio that we're trying to clear Sericea lespedeza that will be 4 feet tall. This will bog down in that. It just doesn't have the horsepower to work through a field full of weeds that are thick and that are 3-4 feet tall. So it will bog down. I also notice if I'm mowing on a hill where the tractor is requiring power to pull itself up the hill as well as run the brush hog, the RPMs will drop pretty significantly there. Coming back down the hill, it mows just fine. But all in all, the brush hog works really well. Again, maintenance mowing, if you want to go mow your clover field and you want to trim the tops off of everything so that you're cutting your weeds, great mower for that. If you've got a field that you've cleared and you're going to mow it a couple times a year, great brush hog for that. The only issue I have is, you know, in deep stuff, it just doesn't have the power. I was just convinced as I used it that if I continued to use the 1025R and the 4-foot brush hog, I was eventually going to damage something just based on the heavy use and the wear and tear of those heavier materials. So that's my feedback on the 2048 brush hog. Good piece of equipment, runs well. It does have a built-in clutch, so I've not had problems with shear pins and hitting things, so that's not been an issue. All in all, I really like the 2048. Part of the reason I've got it out today is I'm getting ready to do some light mowing back here in my blueberry patch, and it fits into tight areas better than a 5 or 6 foot brush hog. So having a smaller tractor, jobs like that makes them a lot easier. Okay, so I've got the tiller on now. I've got the Frontier 4-foot tiller, and the plan now is to till up a small area just to make a small pumpkin patch for the kids. Last year the deer got it pretty good, so we're going to try it again. We're going to use a little fencing and see if we can protect it. Overall, the tiller, it's a 4-foot tiller. I've had pretty good luck with it. It's you know, similar to the brush hog. It's 4 feet at a time. So if you're doing a small patch like this for pumpkins, it's pretty efficient. If you're going to do 3, 4, 5 acres for food plots, it's going to take you a while. I have done that, and honestly, it worked really well. I didn't feel like I was overworking it like I do the brush hog when I get into some heavy stuff. Felt like the tiller did a really good job. So you know, my feedback on the tiller all in all is pretty good. I'm going to do some tilling. When I'm done, I'm going to talk some about just my overall impressions of the tractor, the attachments, and some recommendations that I have. Okay, the pumpkin patch is done. Just something fun we do for the kids. I did not mention this is the Frontier RT1149, a 4-foot tiller. All in all, as I mentioned before, no complaints about the tiller. This is pretty rocky dirt and soil. It does a nice job on it. So with that, you know, I'm going to wrap things up. My overall review of the 1025R and the attachments, it's a great piece of equipment. I recommend it for anybody who has a smaller piece of property. I'm standing on our 80 of our 150 acres in southeast Ohio. It's undersized for the big projects here, but it's great for something like the pumpkin patch. Some other things about it: it's easy to trailer. I put it on a standard utility trailer to move it back and forth between West Virginia and southern Ohio. Everybody in the family can operate it, so I've had a number of people use it. It's easy to use. You know, it's like, you know, it's an oversized mower that's got the ability to do other jobs. My biggest, I guess my biggest comment would be, keep in mind what you've got. You have a 23 horsepower tractor here. It will do a lot of the things you want it to do, but it's not a full-size tractor. It's not a big tractor. Don't overdo it. I think if you get it with that in mind, that I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5 acres a year, I'm going to do some mowing, and I want the versatility to use multiple attachments, and I want the reliability of John Deere, you know, it's a great setup, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for joining us. Hit like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.